And then there's this. The rise of an the risk, of an asteroid hitting planet Earth has now risen to the highest ever recorded. NASA is saying there is more than a 3% chance that this asteroid, nicknamed the City Killer, could hit planet Earth in 2032. The chances seem slim. However, this is an increase from earlier impact estimates. It was previously at 2.6%, potentially causing severe devastation if it were to hit a populated area. NewsNation's Alina Shirazi is in Washington with the latest on this. I mean, it sounds scary. What are they saying about the risk and the reason for the increase?
Yeah, Marnie, great to be with you. Well, the probability does keep rising for this asteroid to hit Earth. And now we are at a 3.1% chance. So that's a 1 in 32% chance that this could actually happen. That's the probability there. But NASA is calling it a city killer if it does hit. But the good news is officials with NASA do tell me that chance could get lower and lower as we get closer to 2032, which is the year that this asteroid is projected to hit. But NASA has the tools in their toolbox to figure out its projected path and how large this asteroid really is. In March, NASA's James Webb Telescope will start to use its mid-infrared instruments to study the thermal energy, which is essentially another tool in figuring out what the size of this asteroid really is. And another fact here, the Earth is 70% ocean. That's reassuring. Much of the object's estimated path is supposed to pass over that empty ocean, Marnie.
Well, I know you've got some friends over at NASA. What are you hearing from your sources on this whole thing?
Yeah, Marnie, I did actually get to speak with them yesterday. As soon as I saw this, I said, what's going on, right? Bottom line, NASA officials have pointed to other asteroids in the past that they say they've handled with things like the DART mission, which is something that I've covered. It's also called the Double Asteroid Redirection Test. In 2022, they successfully altered an asteroid's orbit, which is the first time that humans actually were able to ever do that. There is a NASA team that is dedicated to working on the asteroid as well as its threats, and I plan on speaking with them as well later today to see what they have plans. Marnie.
All right, Alina, thank you. Joining us now, former NASA astronaut and International Space Station Commander, Dr. Leroy Chiao. Who gets to name it? I think the fact that they named it the City Killer has us probably more worried than we should be.
Oh, anytime you have an asteroid or a large object that's beyond a certain size, it's often called a city killer. You might remember a few years ago, a large meteor entered the atmosphere and exploded above a city in Siberia, Chelyabinsk, and it shattered windows and caused a lot of panic there, but fortunately didn't do too much damage. So a large asteroid like that certainly could cause damage if it was a direct hit on a large city. But the fact is, as your correspondent said, most of the Earth is covered with ocean, and even on land, there are large swaths of desolate areas like Siberia, like parts of Canada and the United States and other continents. So the chances of it hitting a major city are fairly small. Also keep in mind, the last time we had an extinction event from something like this was 66 million years ago. Scientists generally agree that that's what happened and wiped out the dinosaurs. So you can look at it as, well, we're due. It's been 66 million years, or heck, maybe we've got another 66 million years. We don't know.
Well, let's hope so for your grandchildren and mine and theirs and theirs and theirs and so on. We've got an illustration of just how big this one is compared to the one that took out the dinosaurs. I mean, how large is this asteroid and what is it comprised of, kind of the science behind it?
Well, let's see. I don't know that we know what the asteroid is comprised of. I mean, most of the time asteroids are composed mostly of rock and metals. So that's what I would guess that this one would be comprised of. It's been was only discovered at the end of last year. Astronomers have been making measurements, and that's why they've been refining its orbit and figuring out when it might come close to Earth. It's not an exact science. These orbiting bodies, all orbiting bodies, are influenced by other orbiting bodies and other sources of gravitational pull in the universe. And so I would expect these estimates to change as we get closer. We've got 7 years of waiting, for this particular one. But keep in mind, things come in and hit the Earth every day. There are meteors and other and man-made objects that re-enter the atmosphere, come down, and most of that is burned up. But some big chunks survive, and most of it goes into the ocean or somewhere else, and we're not even aware of.
Dr. Chow, how do they come up with the odds? Because I know that I don't have the odds in my favor when I play, the lottery. Like the Powerball is 1 in 292 million, but an asteroid hitting, according to these estimates, 1 in 32. That seems high. How do they calculate this?
Well, that has to do with the errors in their models and their kind of variations of some of those things that I talked about that make it an inexact science. And so it has to do with kind of some of those assumptions and error limits. And like I said, I would expect those estimates to be refined as we get closer. But certainly here we are 7 years out. I would say that those numbers will certainly change one way or the other as we get closer.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. The city killer. I don't like it, Dr. Chow, but I do like talking to you. Come by anytime.
Thank you. My pleasure.